Whoa. How loud? How loud does my voice go? Doesn't go into the yellow. How loud does your voice go?
Pretty loud.
Oh, you're gonna sound like louder this time.
No, I'm far from the mic. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look, I'm going in the yellow.
Yeah, I know, right? Because you're super loud.
Whatever. How do we intro this thing? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. Hopefully this is your second time being here. Hi.
Hi there.
I
am Mishu.
Oh, you went first this time. My name is Nocturnal, or you can call me David. You can call me Dave. I really don't care. And this is the WX5 podcast, episode 2. This week we watched Your Choice. What was that? It's a ghost. Oh yeah, this week we watched Your Choice. We watched Friendsgiving. Yeah. Yes. Pretty funny movie. What? Don't do that.
No, I hear something.
Hey, don't do that. Hopefully it's nothing big.
No, but for today's episode, we're gonna do Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving, yes. This was Your Choice. This is on Netflix. Pretty funny movie. It's a comedy, right? Not a rom-com. There's no romantic interest.
Yeah, it's
Your Choice.
Yeah, everyday life type of movie.
It's a comedy drama,
It's a drama.
apparently.
Yeah, drama.
Comedy drama.
Yeah, I guess.
So real quickly, the Who, it stars Malin Ackerman. I don't know. She was in a bunch of other comedies. She typically plays like just the blonde love interest. It also features Kat Dennings, who, if you've seen Thor, you know her, and a bunch of other random actors, comedian Aisha Tyler. It features Andrew Santino, a comedian I really like. Real quick run through. Molly and Abby, along with their crew of close friends and acquaintances, host a dysfunctional, comical, and chaotic Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh my gosh,
Wow, you wrote a lot of notes wow. I thought I was writing a lot of notes this time. She has like a lot of notes on this movie. Wow, Jesus. I actually feel kind of bad. Like I feel like I've been outdone this time. Wow. So the movie takes place in LA. It's Thanksgiving of, I assume, last year.
Mm-hmm.
It takes place in 2020. Movie starts out, opens up with a
very sassy intro.
Very not safe for work, if you will. I wrote down, it opens up with dude with a turkey thong over his cock getting dominated by his wife, question mark.
By the way, this is 18 and over.
This is rated R movie, and this is a rated R podcast. You better buckle in, baby. And yeah, he's getting dominated by the blonde lady, getting spankings, getting whipped. And it's just it just starts off very, very raunchy, and he's getting dominated by her, and I don't know.
It's getting weird, actually.
He's
getting turned off by it.
She was being very dominant, and he was like, yeah.
The things she says is like, what? Like...
I forgot what she says, but basically she's like, damn, I wish I wrote down the quotes, but it was very jarring. It's not every day you see...
Did you push out the baby? Do you want to push out the baby out of your asshole?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have enough wine for this, honestly.
Did you get a divorce?
Yeah, it was very, very intense.
Anyway, so Molly has a baby. His name is Eden. And I think he started getting turned off when he saw the baby on the monitor. Like,
Homeboy is very dumb, so he was just like, can the baby see us? Can the baby see us on the baby monitors? And I was like, okay, all right. So then it cuts to who we find out her name is Abby. Abby is shopping. She's FaceTiming her family. Her family is very, I don't know if they're Italian or Jewish. I think they're both. But then they're very New York, and the girl and Molly and Abby, Abby's talking with her family. They mentioned that Molly is divorced and that Molly should be looking for somebody else.
Yeah, well, Molly's in her like early stage of dating with Jeff. Jeff is the guy. So, yeah.
They cut back to a shot of Jeff and Molly in the bedroom, and the baby is starting to wake up, and Molly says like, "Oh, we only have like a minute and a half," and Jeff says, "Oh, that's enough. That's enough time to get things done." And boom, title shot of the title shot, Friendsgiving. There's a montage of the girls when they're younger, being best friends, and then after the title intro, just cuts to them boning. That's just what I wrote down. It says after the title intro, they're boning.
So her friend Lauren actually FaceTimed her, right?
Oh, you're cutting ahead. I wrote down about Abby. Abby's drinking alcohol in the supermarket.
Yeah. She gets kicked
and
out.
then the security, or they stop her and say, "You can't drink alcohol in here." And she's like, "I'm trying to drown out my problems." And they're like, "Sorry,
she's like,
ma'am."
"This alcohol is not even from yours and from your store." And then he's like, "I don't care. You cannot drink here."
The movie is pretty funny. Like the little subtle small things kind of got to me. Like it's not a comedy where there's like the big laughs or the big crazy stuff, but like the little things that they say.
Yeah, it's
pretty
full of sarcasm too.
Yeah, a lot of sarcasm. So then they decide to kick her out. She gets angry, and Abby starts beating up a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so yeah, going back to Molly, I guess. Are you done?
Yeah, I just thought that was a funny scene, so I had to point it out. I'm sorry.
So going back to Molly, so her friend Lauren started like venting to her, like, I'm being like a mom, I guess. So she's like, "Oh, I need to get out, like these kids are killing me, yada yada yada." So she pretty much just invited herself over for Thanksgiving dinner.
Pretty much, even though it was the big deal with that is that Molly and Abby were supposed to have a Friendsgiving, just them two.
Yeah,
like,
they've been looking forward to it.
Because they're both running away from their problems. It turns out Abby is going through a rough breakup. She's a lesbian, and the woman she was with like moved on super quick or just over her. Molly is going through a divorce, but she still hasn't signed the papers, so it's kind of like, ugh, yikes.
Yeah. Anyways, then also, so once that FaceTime was over with Lauren, her and Jeff have like some conversation, and Jeff is supposed to leave, and he's
Jeff is a philanthropist apparently, but he's a fucking bum. Like, I can't put it in.
Doesn't make any money.
He makes no money. And, like, he claims later in the movie that the philanthropy company floats him money for his work, but it's like, I don't know what that means. Obviously, you don't work, you don't make money.
Anyway, so yeah, he invited himself to dinner as well.
Yeah, he just decides like, oh, I need a meal. He's basically staying with her, bumming off her. So he's like, yep, I'm staying for dinner. He plays a sad guy thing like, oh, what are we gonna do? It's really sad.
It's a long day, it's a long night. Where am I gonna go? What am I gonna do? And then Molly was like, would you like to
stay for dinner?
And then he's like, oh, really?
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah.
I literally wrote down at this point when we finally find out his name's Jeff, I just put Jeff as his name, and he's annoying as fuck. I couldn't stand him. I can't stand him.
So then Abby finally got groceries, and she comes over to Molly's house.
Yep. I wrote down that Abby comes over to Molly's, and Jeff comes out naked from the shower. Abby sees his dick, and she says her dildo is bigger. LOL. I thought that was pretty funny. I'm sorry. The way Kat Dennings' character is so funny. Like, she's just so
she's
dry.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's my girl.
That's
Anyways,
your type of humor.
Yeah, like Juno. Anyways, so she just tells you how it is, like, and then she's like, oh, so that's the plan. Now you're staying over for dinner.
Yeah.
And she just like, Molly's trying to tell her, but then Abby's like all like trying to tell her something else so that Molly couldn't say that Jeff is staying. Jeff comes out naked, and he's like, hi, Jeff, and hi, little Jeff.
Yeah. She calls his dick little Jeff. I thought that was funny.
And then, yeah.
Abby is upset over finding out that more people are coming over, and she's really pissed.
Yeah, there is some conversation they were having that we were kind of confused.
Oh, we were
like,
so confused by this.
Did they date? Like, were they dating before?
Yeah, like there was during the conversation about between Abby and Molly about getting over their problems. They're speaking about running away from who they were with before. we weren't sure. We had to rewatch the movie yesterday for a little bit because the way Abby made it seem, she didn't mention her significant other that they broke up with. So she mentions that like, oh,
you love me to the moon and back, but
yeah, but it turns out yes, she is talking about her ex because her ex was very
narcissistic.
very not only narcissistic, but she's like very she led her on very like heavy, saying like all these very romantic things, and then 2 weeks later they're done.
Yeah,
kind of.
And Abby was like falling hard for her, like she
Yeah.
thought she was the one type of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, yeah. So then
we find out right here that Molly didn't file for divorce yet, and Abby decides to leave, and Jeff ordered a photo booth.
Yeah, with accessories.
With accessories.
And he had it delivered to Molly's place, so he obviously planned all of this already, right? And then
For the Friendsgiving, yeah.
And he didn't pay for it.
He makes fucking Molly pay for it. He's like, go put it on her credit card kind of thing, and he dips out as she has to pay for it. What the?
Yeah. I mean, Molly's a very well-known
actress.
Yeah.
She was a big time like blonde, like action hero actress lady.
So yeah, so so everybody knows her. Even the person that delivered the photo booth knew her, and anyways, but she still had to pay for it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So Molly's mom
just
shows up out of the blue, and decides that she's staying with Molly. Like literally, is like barely around. One of those like actress moms where she's like pushes the daughter to do all this kind of stuff. Has money.
She's all in for the money, really.
Just showed up out of nowhere and just like, hey, guess what I'm saying? I gotta spend time with my daughter and grandson, but.
Mm-hmm. She's like, you were crying so hard on the phone. That was 2 months ago, Molly said. And she's like, well, I'm here now. She said, I had to pack up my stuff. It took you 2 months to pack up your stuff. Anyways, yeah.
We're gonna skip a couple notes, but we're getting to the part where Abby comes back to Molly's after she was upset and stormed off, and that's when all the other friends start showing up.
No, actually, the ex-boyfriend showed up before that, right?
No, he shows up. Does he show up before that?
Anyways, so yeah, we're just gonna go for it.
Yeah, you fucking keep going. All right.
So anyways, so then Molly was like, "I'm gonna leave and go find Abby."
And I just got up to I just have the part where all the friends come over. I don't remember.
No. So what happened was, so that when the mom was there, and then she just started getting her things ready, like I need to leave and get Abby because, well, this is supposed to be for her. I need to apologize, yada yada yada. But then her and Abby meet at the door, or Abby came back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So Abby came back, and yeah, they were good again. And then, yeah, she started cooking.
So after that, subsequently, all of the friends and guests are coming over. So I just wrote down that Andrew Santino's in the movie, and he's super funny. One of my
oh my god.
Dude is really funny. He kind of kills it in this movie, and
his wife can't talk.
So apparently he's married. If you've seen this actress, she's in a bunch of movies. She's also very funny. But Andrew Santino's character shows up. I forgot his name. Rick. His name is Rick. And apparently he's married to a woman they've only been married. They knew each other for 4 months, been married for a month and a half, and she has like mad Botox on her face. So the entire movie she talks like this, and her lips can't move.
And they have to guess what she's saying.
Yeah,
the whole time.
It's honestly some of the funniest stuff ever, because it's like she's like the stereotypical like LA wife, but literally her cheeks are popping and they're stuck, and then her lips are like duck lipped the whole movie. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Until later on she takes mushrooms and somehow she can talk again. It's fantastic.
Anyway, so then the ex-boyfriend comes in too.
Oh, God.
No. So Rick and Jeff had some. Was it Rick and Jeff? Yeah, they have some awkward.
They have a manly
poking
a man contest, like, oh, like, you're not gonna out alpha me. Like, they give the firm handshakes, and they're like, oh, that's a firm handshake, and he's like, oh yeah, look at you.
No, because he was like trying to hurt Jeff's feeling, and then Jeff was like, yeah, I got you, and
It
Yeah,
was
it's
funny.
very-
It's the subtle humor in this movie is actually really good. Like I said, there's no like big major like trying to go for laughs, but the really small stuff and the context is actually really funny.
And then somebody else comes out. Molly's ex-boyfriend comes in. What is his name?
Oh shit, I don't.
He shows up out of nowhere, and then Molly was like, "Whoa, what a surprise!" And then they were saying hi, and then the mom was like, "Well, I invited him because he was messaging me, and then I just decided to invite him." Yeah. Anyways, yeah. And then Jeff and the ex-boyfriend were having some beef. Like, they were like, yeah, it's awkward, really awkward. I guess maybe Jeff wasn't there when he first came in, right? Because then he was trying to talk, and then.
Is that with the X?
Am I like jumping really fast? Yeah.
No. So, I just read over my notes. So this is in the order that everything happened. So, after Rick them appear, Lauren them show up, say hi, right. And then subsequently all the other guests that Lauren invited, like next is like one of their gay friends who's like has a tragic backstory, and then they all meet in the kitchen. Everybody's talks are like really weird and crazy, like especially like Rick's character, his he got people to laugh so much apparently from his like random comedy in the blooper reel. If you watch in the credits, it's actually really funny. But then that's when Molly's ex-boyfriend shows up, and it's like, yikes! Everybody's just like, what is he doing here? Oh, this is the curtain. Yeah, so it's like it's very awkward. Him and Molly have a lot of back and forth. It's like everybody's like, oh shit, this is getting kind of heated.
Yeah.
Apparently he was an actor too. That's why they got together.
Yeah, it was really awkward, and then yeah, so Molly was like confronting her mom, like, why didn't you ask me to invite him? Like, why are you inviting him? Why are you inviting him at my house without telling me, type of thing. Anyways.
By the way, big red flag. If your mom ever invites your ex over to something, you need a new mom. Sorry. You need a new mom. Throw away that mom. That's just, what the fuck. Wild.
So, they decided to have some girl talk because she needed a break from that drama.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then, well, they wanted everybody to get out of the kitchen because Abby had to cook and yada, yada, yada.
Abby takes over as, like, head chef. And
she had to cook everything everybody brought.
Everybody needs themselves an Abby, by the way. Bomb friend.
She's awesome.
She's super funny. And then that's where I put down that once everybody's outside, there's a bunch of talk, Molly's mingling, and then Jeff meets her ex. Was his name Michael, or was Michael the ex-husband?
I don't know.
I think Michael was the ex-husband.
I never caught the ex-boyfriend's name.
I think it was, we'll call him Michael for now. I don't know. Don't fact check us. Go watch the movie. It's actually pretty good. God damn it.
Okay, so, no, wait. They still have the girl talk first, right?
Yeah, they had the girl talk, like...
they had the girl talk. Something happened at the girl talk, remember? So they have a girl talk in the baby's room, and then they were just sitting there, and then Lauren brings her goodie, and she offers it to the girls. It was like a very nice, well-packed shrooms.
Oh, that happens a little bit later, but...
Wait.
Because you're drunk! No, because before that, it's like actually really... We were kind of like watching the scene intently because Jeff meets her ex. Like, Molly is like confronting the ex, like, why are you here, kind of thing. And then Jeff comes on over, like, oh, who's this? And then it's just like, oh, this is my ex-boyfriend. And then Jeff is like super insecure, so he starts sizing him up and then does the tough handshake. And he's like, oh, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I'm a philanthropist. He's like, oh, okay, so you're broke, kind of thing. And like, it's just like, oh shit, like then.
He's like, nah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm gonna let you catch up with your ex because I'm very comfortable enough with myself like that. So I'm gonna let you do it.
Jeff is like super beta male, trying to be an alpha male, and he constantly is like, fuck, like he says these things like, no, I'm secure, but like clearly it's like clearly you're not, and clearly the ex still has a thing for Molly, which is it's super obvious. Like,
yeah, it's very obvious. So then Jeff goes into the kitchen where Abby is, and they're trying to fight over the apron.
Yeah.
And then, well, Abby was like, well, he doesn't want to dirty his shirt, so Abby was just like, oh, take off your shirt then. Just take off your shirt if you don't want to get it dirty. So he takes off his shirt. Yeah. And then,
also side note though, real quick, I wrote down Molly's mom is a nasty woman because Molly's
right now.
Molly's mom is really ready to pounce on like anybody that's like young, pretty much.
Anyway, so when Abby left, then it was just Jeff in the kitchen trying to make a ceviche for Molly.
Yeah.
And that's when the mom came in and she was trying to hit on Jeff. And then, like, right there and then, Jeff was just making sure that she knows that he loves Molly and that, the conversation is done.
He's just very dumb. And then that's when they have the talk, and then Molly's mom's like, oh, what do you do? And then he's like, oh, I'm a philanthropist. And she's like all excited. And then she's like, oh, like, how much do you make? And he's like, oh, well, my philanthropy work. I don't make any money. She's like, oh, well, then what do you do for money? He's like, well, I do the work and they float me money. And she's just like,
so you're broke.
They float you money. He's like, yeah, so you don't have no money. He's like, nope.
And then, like, first she was trying to hit on him first. And then he was, like, as soon as he was, like, turning her down, then she tried to attack him with the financial question. And it was awkward.
Yeah, I wrote down he's a broke boy.
Anyways, that was good talk. Very awkward and weird, and
that's when they go to Lauren, Abby, Molly are in baby's room, Eden's room, and Lauren offers them shrooms.
Nobody took it.
Just Lauren. She's a wild girl. She decides
my note is right here that says that after.
She's a wild girl. She's a wild girl, man.
Oh, so yeah, when they first came in, Lauren said that her husband is gonna be on babysitting duty for the day, and she's gonna have party for the day, pretty much. So that's why she got prepared for the party.
She's down to get lit, and I like that. She's a very, very interesting character. Then afterwards, there's just more spicy talk from Molly, her mom, and the ex. They're kind of like trading barbs with each other, because it's like Molly's mom, or what's her name, Helen, right? Yeah, Helen clearly thinks that Molly's ex was good for her, and like, oh, why don't you just take him back, kind of thing, like, why don't you be with him? And she's like, oh, he cheated, and just typical movie mom shit. Just scrapping with each other, just who's right, who's wrong, what's best for who, blah blah blah. And then that's when Molly's mom goes all in, is like, yo, I'm gonna dance with him. She's basically like, I got my eyes set, I'm gonna seduce this man, even though he was with my daughter, which is kind of wild.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I thought the whole time, she was trying to just, like, make her jealous, or, like, trying to get her attention towards him instead, but she
just
really was going for it.
She's just a wild lady. She's a cougar. I mean, it's like, do you, but, man, keep that shit out of there. It's kind of weird.
Okay, so then
Lauren is tripping. I wrote down just Lauren is tripping. Continue.
Yeah, she was kind of pissed at her mom. What's going on? So then Abby finds out that her ex had moved on and is engaged. After what? How many? 2 months later? A couple months.
So we didn't write down like when a lot of the timetable for that relationship was, because like we were confused about the way that they were talking about Abby breaking up with her ex in the beginning, and then because in the movie Abby's ex mentions, she says this line like, I love you to the moon and back, and then she says, oh, well, then 2 weeks later we were broken up with. So I don't remember the increment of time after they broke up in which she got engaged, but it was very short, and that's why Abby was so like crushed about it, because she really had a thing for this lady. But later you find out it was for the better anyway, so it's just like, don't get hung up on that, man.
Okay, so then she the Shama, what's her name?
Oh,
Shaw woman.
So earlier in the movie, Lauren says that Lauren mentions that she got the mushrooms from their friend who was a normal white chick that became a Shaw woman. Her name is Claire, and they're like, what the fuck? Claire became a Shaw woman? Like, really? And then after all that stuff happened with the mom, Shaw woman Claire shows up.
Yeah, she just shows up out of nowhere. Abby was still like freaking. She just found out about the ex, so she was like literally like on the edge.
Yeah, on edge, like like crazy.
And then Shaw woman here like talking really like calm, you know how they are, like, I mean how they talk.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're like, she's really calm, like, okay, so you gotta concentrate on how you're feeling at this right moment.
Oh
and then Abby's getting really irritated.
So Abby basically blows up on everybody. She blows up on Molly. She blows up on Claire, but especially on Claire. And it's one of the funniest exchanges in the movie. She tells him like, because Claire shows up with a chia seed crusted acai something pie whatever with pecans, and then Abby basically blows up and tells her you can shut up your asshole and all this stuff. And even though Claire's trying to keep it calm and collected, it's I was dying at this like on this like, it's like Abby keeps blowing up on Claire as much as Claire's like, you know, whatever you feel, it's right now, okay? You gotta let it go. And Abby's literally like, shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know shit. Like, you just shove this pie up your ass, whatever. And then Abby leaves.
She runs upstairs, and then Claire's
like Claire like turns straight out of nowhere. She's like, yeah, you know what? But it's like funny because she's still in shaman voice, so I was like dying on the inside because she's like, you know what? Okay, you lucky you left, and if you step to me again, I will fuck you up. Like it's like just say it.
And
but
your
like,
silence means you're giving me.
Yeah, I was like, and that's right. Okay, I'm here.
You left.
You left.
So,
I win. Like I'm like what?
And then Molly was just like, she left. She's not here anymore, Claire.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. She got to me. I'm centered. We're in the now. I'm like, okay.
And then so while Abby ran upstairs, she meets Lauren in the bathroom. Lauren is tripping. Obviously, she took 3 of those little stuff. So the little goodies.
This is funny.
So Abby was like, you know, like, I'm so lost. Like, you know, I haven't moved on, and I haven't kissed anyone in a year or something. I haven't kissed anyone yet after her ex. And then Lauren was like, what? You haven't kissed anyone? So then she kisses her. And then she was like taken back. And then she started kissing her back. And then they made out.
Yeah, much. Like Lauren starts consoling Abby in the bathroom. And Lauren's like, like Abby's like, oh, I didn't kiss anybody in practically a year. Lauren just gives her a peck at first. She's like, well, you know, there you go. You haven't made out with somebody. And I was like, well, you know what?
What flavor is that?
Hey, what flavor is that? And then they just like start making out. Just going at it.
And then Lauren's daughter comes up, and she was like, "What are you doing, Mom?" And then it became really awkward. Abby was like, "Well, it's nothing. I was feeling bad, and your mommy just trying to make me feel good."
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I didn't skip anything, babe.
You did. You skipped them bringing out the food. Jeff get. Yo, wait. I gotta point this part out because like this movie constantly like
jumps.
No, it constantly makes Jeff look like such a bitch, dude. It's like I hate it, but like it's like I get it. It's funny, and not that I like the Jeff character, but like I hate it because like. Every time I think I can't hate Jeff more, I end up hating Jeff more. Because, like, they bring the food out, and everyone's, like, starting to conversate, whatever. Molly's, like, kind of, like, finally chill. Okay, the food's out. Even though they're struggled warming up the food, which is hilarious without Abby. Jeff gives Molly a drawing of them two on a napkin. And I wrote down, Jeff gives Molly a drawing of them on a napkin, and it was sad. Because he gives them a Sharpie drawing. It's like stick figure Jeff and Molly's like
and the
like,
baby was on the side.
And the baby was on the side. It's like, this is us or something. And he's like,
this is a gift for you.
This is a gift for you. I'm like, what the fuck,
and,
man?
Oh no, he makes it like he's so confident too. Like, this is a gift for you. This is for you. And then she was just like, she grabbed it and put it in her pocket real quick. Like, she's embarrassed.
What the fuck, man? What the fuck? Like, damn, man.
Okay, so
that's when they're caught.
okay, so they got caught by the daughter, and then she was just like, "Mommy was not feeling good," so she was just trying to. Abby was not feeling
Auntie
good.
Abby wasn't feeling good, so mommy made her happy, because that's when the husband walks in right after the daughter, because he was looking for the daughter, and then the daughter basically says everything, and then
the dad sends her down, and then they start talking.
It was
awkward.
I wrote down it's awkward. Abby's like, goes up to him, is like, I'm sorry, we're still cool, right? And he's like, you better leave, and he's just like, okay.
She's like, I have so much love for you, and he was like, we don't need any more
love
from you. But he's acting like really calm, like, you know, yeah, you kissed my wife, but you know, you need to go right now. I don't want to talk to you. And then they talk, and then he was just like, I can't wait until Christmas, because apparently for Christmas she's gonna be the babysitter, and then he's gonna have fun. So
yeah, apparently they take turns every holiday who gets to get fucked up.
Yeah. And then
I wrote down that Lauren's husband says he's a little turned on by the kissing, but he's kind of upset because
he wasn't there.
He always dreamed about them having a threesome, 2 girls, but he was like, damn, like I didn't get to be there. That's when she admits that she's drunk and she's on some other things, and yeah.
So he knows what's up. And then so they start eating downstairs, and Abby takes some shrooms. Yeah, that's when she did, because she was like, oh my god, I fucked up more.
Yeah.
Then
cutting to the table though, like I just have to point this out that like they go to the table, and then you know everybody's talking about carving the turkey, and Jeff says he can't carve a turkey, but then Molly's ex decides to carve the turkey, and then that's when Helen's like, oh, I love a man who knows how to carve a turkey, and he's like, oh yeah, because they're sitting next to each other, and then they ask for somebody to bless the food. Jeff says that he's not religious or whatever, so he can't do it. And then that's when Claire decides to bless the food, but instead of blessing and saying like a prayer, because she's also, you know, not religious, she goes, oh, you know what, bless everyone, bless this day. What do we got on the table? Oh, are those green beans? Oh, they look very fresh from the farmer's market.
Bless the green beans.
Bless those green beans. Are those peas? Yes, those are peas. Bless these peas. Yes, they look very good. Very vegetational dinner we have here. Yes.
Oh yeah, she eats the salad, and then she said amen or something.
She doesn't. I don't even think she says amen. She's like, oh, thank you, and then everybody says like, oh, God bless you, or like amen, like, because she's like says that she's like not. She obviously is not religious, so she's like, yes, thank you, everyone, and then everyone's like under their breath like, amen. I thought that show was pretty funny.
And then so Abby comes up, and then she sits right next to Claire. I was so scared this time, like.
I thought they were gonna throw her down.
Yeah, because I mean Claire was calling her out, but then. You know, nothing happened.
So no one's taking care of baby. Abby goes to check on baby.
Yeah, because the monitor goes off, because that's where they see the baby. How come the baby's always in the crib?
I don't know, man. They needs better parenting.
So then Abby goes up to take care of the baby. And then, so there was other lesbian that came in. Every time the lesbian comes and talks to Abby, they have some sort of like aura lighting around them. And
to explain this, it's so cheesy. This is the only like negative I have about the movie. Really, is like it's so cheesy how Molly invited a bunch of lesbians.
No, it was not Molly. It was Lauren.
Oh yeah, Lauren. Lauren invites a bunch of lesbians to the party to try to get Abby to get over her ex, and then every time lesbian is shown talking to Abby, they do a little Dateline thing where they explain their sign and what they're into. Profile. Every single time Abby's like,
it's like a dating app, really.
Every single time Abby's shutting it down. She's like, nah, like nope. Why would I do that? Why would I be into that kind of thing?
Yeah, and then I put on my notes. So 2 of the lesbians started hooking up.
Yeah, they start falling for each other on the dinner table, and Abby's like, "What the fuck?" Like,
no, Abby wasn't there.
Oh, Abby wasn't there. Yeah, that's right. But it's awkward because like just random lesbians are like, oh, look at your hands, they're bigger than mine. Oh my god.
Okay, so then on the dinner table, like, because it's Thanksgiving, so Claire says, okay, everyone should say what they're grateful for.
Or what makes them happy or something like that.
Yeah. So then they go around, and then Lauren's husband was like, I'm grateful for Christmas.
Yeah, he's gonna get turned pretty much.
Yeah, because the wife is pretty turned on. Turned on. The wife is pretty high. That's what I meant.
She's pretty turned on.
No,
Definitely.
I don't know about that.
So it goes back to Abby, and Abby's tripping, and she sees her lesbian.
3 fairy godmothers.
Lesbian stepmothers. That's what they call them in the movie. They're like fairies, and it's funny because one of them is Wanda Sykes, and if you guys know, Wanda Sykes is a famous comedian who happens to be a lesbian. So I thought it was pretty funny.
So they pretty much like reveal to her like self-love, really. That was it.
She just has a vision, and it's like, hey, like the thing. It's like in all movies when people are trying to find themselves, like the thing that you need is really inside you the whole time. Like, you need to look in yourself, and because in yourself you'll find the thing that makes you happy. And
no, but the thing too is like that's when we found out that like Abby's ex really treated her like crap. Like, she would close her in a closet.
She wanted Abby to be more like a man.
Like a butch.
Yeah, she wanted to shave her head and everything.
So like somebody who shaves your head because they found one gray hair on your head, or somebody that locks you in the closet because they don't like what you're wearing. But yeah, pretty much. Anyways,
next, it turns out the reason Molly's having an exchange with her mom. Like, why are you being like this? And then it turns out Molly's mom is getting a divorce. That's why she actually showed up. She just showed up because she has nowhere to stay because she got kicked out. So, yeah, she's getting a divorce from her, I don't know, 4th husband, they said?
Yeah.
4th or 5th husband. So that's why she's, like, looking for a man, and that's why she is with Molly right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking at this time.
So Jeff noticed that. Are we here yet, or do you have a note before that? So Jeff started playing with Eden because he was like on the monitor again, and he saw in the monitor. So he picked him up, and then he started playing with him, and then because Jeff has been half naked this whole time, he didn't put the shirt back on, so he's playing with Eden, and then Eden started latching on. He started latching on Jeff, and then Jeff was like, oh, and he doesn't stop it.
If you guys don't know what that means, that.
He's sucking on his nipple.
I wrote down, Eden the son is getting consoled by Jeff, and he lets him latch onto his nipple. It's fucking weird. Okay? This is a negative point of the movie. It's fucking weird. I was just like, this is...
I mean, obviously, it's just pretend.
It's a pretend, and it's a comedy, but I was like, bro, it's the most randomest scene, and it's just like, this did not need to... Why?
Yeah, it happens...
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like they're playing around, they're taking selfies, I get it, Jeff's an idiot, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, they're having fun. And then fucking Eden latches on his nipple, and he's like, oh my god, and he doesn't stop him, and it's really weird. I'm sorry, it's weird. It's weird, okay? It's weird.
So then Molly was like, what's going on? What are you doing? And then he's like, can I just have my baby? Can I hold my baby? And then she was like, can I just stay with him for a little bit by ourselves? And then he's like, yeah, sure. Then he leaves.
It's weird. It's really weird.
And then she puts him back to sleep again for some reason. So the baby always sleeps.
No, it's like, Molly has Eden for a little bit, and then that's when out of nowhere the mom's like, oh, let me take care of Eden. I want to be a good grandmother. Let me take care of Eden, even though she's been drinking. And then that's the last we see of Eden for a little bit. Just keep that in mind.
Are you sure? 'Cause then...
No, because at this time, everybody in the party is like, they separate, they go their own ways, they're talking, they're in different parts. That's like, it's because it's after the dancing scene. So that's when, out of nowhere, like, Molly's mom is like, let me take care of him. Like,
oh, I still have a note on the dancing scene.
Yeah, well, I skipped it because it's like, it's just random. Like,
yeah,
there's a montage of dancing.
They're dancing, and then Jeff's dance is like embarrassing Molly because she's doing some like really, I don't know, kind of dance that is. Capoeira.
Because I wrote...
Capoeira.
I wrote down, like, I have a bunch of, like, really small random notes I don't know where. I put Botox chick finds the mushrooms and is tripping in the bathroom. It's really random.
Really? I didn't notice that.
Oh, yeah, Botox lady takes mushrooms in the bathroom. And then that's when her face goes to normal because she starts tripping because Molly has to use the bathroom. And then she's like, finally can speak. She goes, oh, wow. And she smiles. I'm like, oh, God, this is kind of creepy.
Wait, and Abby was tripping on the shrooms too. But when during this time was Abby feeding Eden the pecan pie? That's when she went up to go see him, right? To go look after him.
Oh, yeah.
So we skipped on that.
Oh, no. It's right after. I wrote down it's right after Jeff can't dance for shit because everybody's outside dancing.
And he wakes up from the rush already.
No. I have it in order. So like, yeah, it cuts to everybody dancing outside. Everybody's having a good time. I wrote down who's watching Baby at this point because like it doesn't show what happens with Baby. I wrote down who's watching Baby. Apparently Jeff can't dance for shit. Because he starts doing, I don't know what it is. It's like some kind of shaman ritual on the dance floor. Even Molly doesn't want to dance with him. She's like, oh, what the fuck? That's when Abby feeds Eden a pie with pecans. And it turns out he's probably allergic to them because you're not supposed to feed babies pecans before 1 year old. Yeah, so... That's when things go downhill quick. Because
no, actually, the mom didn't watch the baby. She was like hanging out with some other dude, and then that's when Molly found on the monitor that the baby's crying, that the mom is not watching the baby. Then she goes rush to Eden, and then he has like the rash all over his mouth.
Yeah, he's like hives and rash. Yeah, I guess rash around his mouth. It's like really, really red. They say he's wheezing, although you cannot hear it in the movie, but they say he's wheezing.
So then she rushes to bring him to the hospital, and then
they call a lift.
No, they called an ambulance, and the ambulance was really far away.
Yeah, so little context on that. They live in like the Hollywood Hills, and the Hollywood Hills are like notorious because they're so intertwined up LA, like they're hard to get to. So like if you call the cops and if you call the police, normally on average it's going to take 25 to 30 minutes because it's so much road, and it's so many houses that you have to keep weaving and weaving and weaving just to get to these addresses. So yeah, they called for an ambulance and they're like, it's gonna take 20 to 30 minutes, but apparently they call a lift, which is 3 minutes away.
So then before the lift comes, Abby comes clean like, so I'm sorry, but I didn't know that I couldn't give him pecan. I just gave him like tiny little bit. That's how she found out that it was allergy. It was pecan allergy.
And she says her excuse is that she's high and she didn't know that, or she didn't realize it at the time. And she says, stop yelling at me because your mouth looks like a talking puppet and it's freaking me out, because she's tripping balls.
And then Molly blows up and says Jeff is a rebound out of nowhere. Oh no, they were talking about their exes. And
Molly blows up on Abby and says like, if you weren't too busy trying to get over your fucking ex, like who like broke up with you, for a while ago, that wasn't even good for you, maybe this wouldn't happen. Abby retorts and says like, oh yeah, well you're not even fucking divorced yet, whatever, and like now you're like sleeping with Jeff. And Molly airs out everything. Literally says Jeff is just a fucking rebound, and
as Jeff goes down the stairs,
as Jeff literally looks for her, and it's like awkward. He hears everything,
but he doesn't say anything. He stays calm, and then the lift comes, and then Molly goes inside, and Jeff goes to follow her.
Yep.
So he goes in the lift anyways, even though he heard what she said.
Yep. So they get to the hospital, and they ask, or Molly's like, oh, he has a peanut allergy, and the lady's like, oh, well, have you been drinking? And she's like, yeah, I had some drinks. Like, what does it fucking matter? She tells him like, well, it's a formality. We always have to ask these things, fill these paper out, and we'll get you to a room. Cut back to the party. It's really awkward because the party's winding down, and Helen makes an advance on Molly's ex, and he turns her down in a very epic way. Like she comes on him, like he's just like, yo, I'm trying to stick her tongue in his mouth.
Before that's when she realized that the baby wasn't there. She starts freaking out, like, where's the baby? Where's the baby? Where's the baby? And then everybody was like, where's the baby? And then And then she calls Molly, and then Molly said, "No, the baby's with me. He had an allergy reaction. We're at the hospital." And then she was like, everybody was like relieved, like, okay, the baby's with Molly, but not relieved because the baby's at the hospital, type of thing. And then that's when she threw herself into Molly's ex, Helen. That's when Helen threw herself into Molly's ex, and then the guy was just like, "Hey, you pretty much were like, I was just playing around this whole time, like." I'm your daughter's ex. Like, what are you doing? You should be the mother. She needs you right now. Like, your grandson is at the hospital. Like, be the mother,
She basically says, like, oh, I'm hot. Like, I'm hot. What, like, whatever. But he's like, yeah, but you're also my ex's mom. Like, maybe you should be a mother to her. And, like, he walks away. It's a good moment because, like, the whole movie, he's kind of being a douchebag, like, trying to get, like, Molly jealous, but then he actually has good morals, so like that's like the last you see of him, but it's like a good last impression.
Yeah,
honestly.
I guess, yeah. And then so she gets a reality check, and then Molly gets to the hospital.
Abby gets to the hospital.
Oh yeah, Abby. No. Jeff and Molly had to talk, and she pretty much just told him that she wasn't lying, that he's a rebound, and he probably should leave. And yeah, so they're done.
Yeah, she basically spells out, like, this isn't really going to go anywhere. It was fun while it lasted, but I realized that, like, it's not going to work. And he's like, oh, like, kind of, like, still trying to hang around. And she's like, no, you should go. And he's like, okay, cool, bye.
Yeah, he was still like, what am I going to do? I think he was like, what am I going to do? Like, I have nowhere to go.
He's like, could I stay at the hospital with her for a little bit at least? But, yeah.
She was like, no, you should just go.
Yeah, that's over. That's done with.
And then, so Abby gets to the hospital. She was not on the family list or whatever. She freaks out a little bit, but then Molly hears her and lets her in, and they have a conversation.
Yeah, and it does turn out Eden is allergic to nuts, but he's going to be okay.
Yeah, and then, they make up.
Yeah. And Abby apologized about Eden, but Molly apologized for her behavior and realizes she wanted to run away from life during this party.
And she was actually also broken.
Yeah.
But
they both realize that the good thing about it is, like, they have a conversation. They both realize, hey, we're both running away from our problems, and we shouldn't have done that. We both have things we have to fix, but we should be better to each other so that we can fix it. And it's a pretty cool moment. I like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so then, they drive back home, and the ending is not too bad. The mom was like cooking for them for some reason.
Yeah, it's like
for like 5 minutes.
So it's super random the way it ends, but the ending scene is basically them back home in the kitchen. Helen is there, and then she's like decides to like get their leftovers ready, and then they're like, oh wow, like we were so hungry, like how did you know that? And she's like, like I'm trying to be a good mom, call me mom. And they're like, no, we're gonna call you Helen. She's like, yeah, Helen is okay. And apparently the whole time during this party, there was like some older guy that wanted to sleep with Helen, and he comes into the kitchen. He's like, Helen, would you join me for a glass? And she's like, okay, I'm gonna go with this guy. And the movie literally ends with them talking to Helen. She tries to be a mom, doesn't match, and they both basically say, oh, we're both not getting laid tonight. And they're like, yep, clink a glass. Movie's done.
Yeah, she said at least somebody is getting laid tonight.
That's it.
Which is Helen.
And then bloopers. Bam.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, it was a nowadays movie.
All in all, it was like it got really bad ratings on like IMDb and stuff, but like I thought it was an okay movie. Like
it was alright.
Yeah, it was alright. Like it had some funny moments. Like scenes I would watch again. Maybe I'd watch it again after some time. Yeah, but like not something I'd rush to. But it was overall good. I don't know why.
I feel like it was cringy type of funny. It was not like
some of the humor
funny.
Was very subtle, and I kind of liked it. But like some of it, was kind of like trying too hard. But overall, out of 10, I don't know, what do you give this?
6.
Yeah, I give it a 6.
Abby is pretty cool, and I like the way she acts. I mean, her acting is really good. Like,
Kat Dennings is always really funny. She's also very good right now in WandaVision. She's one of she's one of the main reasons to watch it. But yeah, I'd give it probably 6.5, maybe around there.
Just because,
the dialogue gets you. Some of it's kind of weird. Some of it's like off-putting, but
it was
alright.
Yeah, yeah, 6 is good, I think.
All right. Well, this has been our breakdown of Friendsgiving.
Let us know what you think in the comments or
Wherever.
you.
Follow, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, tell your parents.
We're doing this every single Sunday. Actually, today is Monday, but we are supposed to do it yesterday. So
Baby was a little grumpy, so we off put it. But we're giving you we're giving you a little double dose. Be on the lookout for that. Coming to iTunes very soon. Setting up that account.
So if
very
you'd
soon.
like to follow us on the live stream, we go live every Sunday at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. right? 9 p.m.
8 or 9 p.m. You just follow. We'll update you daily. Follow all the socials.
So
sure.
yeah, if you wanna like participate during the live stream, just
go to twitch.tv/nocturnal_coffee and fish. Eventually, once things grow, we will probably create another channel specifically for these recordings. We might even do more a week. Who knows? We might do other things, other topics. Yeah.
But yeah, this week we're actually we're giving you 2 podcasts. It's gonna be up
Thursday 9 a.m. and Saturday 9 a.m.
Hawaii time.
Hawaii time, or whenever it goes live, 9 a.m. wherever you are. I don't know. I don't make the rules. Spotify does, but yeah, I hope you guys look forward to that. Be back in a little bit. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. I need some more. This is strong. I'm warm. My ears are warm right now. What? Ooh. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello.
Hello.
And welcome back to a bonus episode this week. Episode 3 of the WX5 podcast, featuring me, Nocturnal.
You forgot your
David.
name.
What's my name?
I am Mishu.
At least you know your name. And we are breaking down in this bonus episode, a Saturday episode. Man, this is like extra content. You should be paying for this, but we love you, so it's free. We are breaking down Earwig and the Witch, which I was pretty excited for because this is a Studio Ghibli movie. The almighty Miyazaki brought us a CGI movie to HBO Max, which is crazy to think about. So if you don't know backstory, Miyazaki is the guy who made Totoro, Ponyo, Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, legendary Studio Ghibli. I mean, everybody should know about it. Everybody who was a kid, probably you've heard about it.
Except me.
You watched Ponyo, don't you do that to me. Okay?
I watched it when I was here.
Don't you do that to me. Okay?
This is like not my comfort zone, you guys. Like, this is not my thing. I don't watch this kind of thing, but I'm doing it for you because I love you.
You're doing it for me, okay?
Okay.
And you're doing it for Baba. Baba loves Studio Ghibli. Excuse me, I had a burp.
He's talking about our daughter, if you didn't know.
Oh. Yeah.
Baba is our daughter.
So, I'm not gonna name any of the actors because it's a Japanese studio, and that's why if you ever watch the movie, the mouths don't sync up. Obviously, if you watch in English, because it's dubbed with English voice actors. But a little quick synopsis of the movie: an orphan girl, Earwig, is adopted by a witch and comes home to a spooky house filled with mystery and magic. So I have mixed feelings about this movie off the bat. I'm just gonna say, but my opinion of it changed as we finished the movie. But it is a typical Ghibli movie, so take with it what you will. But there's gonna be obviously translation issues. It's kind of like it makes sense in English better than his other movies that are dubbed if you ever watch them.
Yeah.
But still, take it with a grain of salt because it's not going to be the most perfect dialogue. It's not going to be voices matching and things like that. But so to get into the movie starts off with a motorcycle and a motorcycle riding redhead lady.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who she is or anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
She's being chased by some trippy small car that has sharp teeth. Super trippy. This scene, the CGI is actually really good in this scene, but I will admit, throughout the movie, some of the scenes kind of a little shaky with the CGI, but not too big of a complaint.
So then she's trying to escape the car, but then she's almost like caught. So then to escape the car, she takes a strand of hair and she turns it into worm, and then she just releases it into the car.
Yeah, she does like a magic spell on her hair. The hair bubbles up and turns into a big batch of worms, and it blinds the car, and she makes her escape.
That actually means something
later on.
Later.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until now, actually.
Yeah, it's foreshadowing.
Until today.
They call that foreshadowing in movies. If you guys don't know, it's usually like something that takes place early in the movie is more important later on. Mm-hmm. So there's like heavy foreshadowing in the.
Yes.
This whole car chase scene actually, like once you think about it in the ending, like everything comes through.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It makes sense. It comes to fruition. So.
Yeah, but she has her baby with her.
Yeah, it turns out.
While she escaped the car.
I didn't notice that at first too when I was watching the motorcycle scene, and then when we watched it the second time, I'm like, oh, she's holding a baby in her jacket.
It was like a baby carrier thing.
Yeah, so the lady is now at an orphanage with said baby. She drops the baby off for her to live there.
Or she just leaves the baby at the doorstep, and then the whatever her
So
the person responsible finds the baby after, like, when the baby cries and
when she's dropping off the baby, she does say some words that like
I'll come back.
Yeah, like when I first watched it, because we watched it halfway through one time on a Sunday with our daughter and our son, and I couldn't really focus too much on it, but I did get the gist of the movie. If the movie is not to their liking, they usually tune out. So I was the only one watching it pretty much, because I'm like I love Studio Ghibli movies. I think they're awesome. They're so simple, but then they always have a really good message. So, yeah, as she's dropping off the baby, she tells her the baby that she's gonna come back in some years when she outruns the other witches, which is like right then and there you're like, okay, what's going on? She gives her a cassette. The cassette has the baby's name, or what we assume the baby's name is, which is Earwig, a bug.
Earwig, and then she leaves a note with the baby.
Yeah. So yeah, that's when when Earwig starts crying. The caretakers of this orphanage hear Earwig, and they go outside to go get her. Mm-hmm. Turns out she's been dropped off to avoid 12 of the witches and will be reunited in a couple years. The caretakers change her name from Earwig, because they say it's a nasty name, to Erica Wig, and we're treated to the title card and some funky music, which if you guys don't know, the opening title cards or opening title sequences of every Studio Ghibli movie, there's always either original music or a really famous song. So for instance, I'm nerding out, by the way, because I really like Studio Ghibli movies, so don't mind me. So with like Ponyo, the opening song is Ave Maria, which is a famous opera song. I know that song very well because my grandparents got married to that. That was their wedding song, and that was the song during my grandpa's funeral. During Totoro, there's like they made their own song for it. It's either really original music or like very well-known songs. For this one, they went with an original song that we find out is very significant later on. But I kind of like I like the song. It's very funky. It was pretty cool for like a Miyazaki film to have like some hard rock and organs and everything. I was like, oh wow, they're really going out of their comfort zone with this one. So fast forward to the kids being older and playing as ghosts in the graveyard. That's how we're first introduced to all the kids.
Yeah. So yeah, they were like having like white blankets over the head and putting some holes for them to see, and they go through the graveyard, and
typical kid shit, being like blanket ghosts.
An old neighbor walking his dog finds them, and then he gets like spooked. And then so yeah, he runs away. And then during this time, that's when Eric and what's his name?
Custard.
Her
best friend.
Not escape, but make their way into the.
They sneak into a giant bell tower, pretty much.
Yeah.
They have I don't know how. By the way, I wrote down that I don't know why these kids are unsupervised at night, even though they're sneaking out. Like, how do these kids all get out and not make a sound? And also, how does Earwig have the key to a bell tower that's not on the property? It's in a graveyard. How does this child do this? I don't know, but they decide to go up in the tower.
Anyways, they go up there and hang out, I guess, and she says the phrase that her mom told her when the mom left her at the doorstep. She repeated it when she was up there, and that was like kind of interesting to me, like,
oh,
wow,
yeah,
she
that's
says
right.
the same exact thing that her mom said to her. I didn't write down the phrase, but yeah, it was pretty interesting how she said it. Anyway, so then the next day the neighbor reported them and she took the blame.
Wait, by the way, real quick, actually, I'm gonna get into this later, but you mentioned that she says the same phrase as the witch who gave her up. This phrase, actually, we don't know. This is the weird thing later on, and we'll get into it more later, but we actually don't know the relationship of that redheaded lady and Earwig, because there's never any explanation of that lady or that witch having a child, or
yeah, true.
We'll get into it later, but
I assume
I have
because
but
Earwig, like, I'll be back for you, like,
There's a couple questions that I have at the end of the movie, which kind of dampened the movie for me. Which kind of, because like a lot of the other Studio Ghibli movies, they're so simple, but then they have like, it's like the things that are unanswered are very like easy. You can make it up in your head. But in this movie, there's a few things that aren't explained that I kind of wish they would actually just like say what it is, because at the ending of the movie, it is a typical Studio Ghibli ending, and you're kind of left with like, why did this happen kind of questions. So we'll get into that later, but yeah, we don't know that their relationship. It isn't expressly,
it's her mom.
yeah, but we're gonna assume it's her mom. Okay, you know what? Happy endings only in this podcast. Okay, it's her mom. Just deal with it. Okay.
The neighbor reported them, and she took the blame and didn't get in trouble, which is really interesting, because usually like when you're at a place like that, you usually get in very big trouble if you like if you like pull off something like that.
All right, wait. I'm gonna be honest real quick. I've had some wine. We're drinking wine during these podcasts.
That's the W.
That's
The fifth W.
That's the fifth W in this, baby. It stands for wine. So I'm gonna, in a moment of transparency, I'm gonna read a note I wrote. I put they're talking about how they never get picked for a home at the top of the tower, and I don't know why they don't like not being safe. Earwig could fall at any moment. I didn't like that. That goes down a point in my book, because Earwig's just like at the edge of this bell tower. And I'm like, girl, if you fall, that's it. End of the movie. I don't like that. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't like it. You made me. I'm afraid of heights. So she's at the edge of this tower, like leaning over. I'm getting a little freaked out. I'm like, all right, I don't like this right now. Go on.
Okay, so can I say the neighbor reported them now?
Yeah. Okay.
The neighbor reported them the next day, and then the two responsible were talking, and then Eric just takes the blame and tells her best friend to leave them, and then she started saying like, oh, because I wanted to celebrate because I know somebody's gonna get picked today, so I wanted to celebrate for them. Then what's the lady's name? I forget her name, but I literally wrote down in that same spot that Earwig apologizes to the caretakers for the ghost party last night, and Earwig is still given a gift. Yeah,
I'm like,
that's what I said too. Like,
I would have been pissed. I'm like, why would you? Oh my god.
I said she didn't get in trouble, but instead she got a gift. So yeah, she got a gift.
She got a gift for being a bad girl. I like it. All right, Earwig 1, caretaker 0.
Oh yeah, but she said something like that, like she gets everybody to do what she wants. Remember?
She has a spell over everybody. Woo, ghost. I wrote down in typical Studio Ghibli movie fashion, the chef that Earwig sees in the kitchen has a comically huge nose. If you watch a lot of the Studio Ghibli movies, there's always a character with a big ass nose. Ponyo is the sea dad. In Spirited Away, it's the witch with the giant nose that's like the size of me. Every movie, a character has a big nose, and now it's the chef. His nose is literally the size of a shark's fin. I just had to point it out. Every movie. Go on. I'm sorry.
But yeah, they have this like famous what pie?
So because this movie takes place in what I'm assuming is like Scotland-ish area of Europe or whatever, there's a lot of like pies, like not like the typical pie. So her favorite pie in the orphanage is shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie.
But later on you see that there's also station pie, which is the Mandrake's favorite pie, but you learn about him later.
Okay, so then everybody, like all the people that are going to adopt comes into the orphanage, and they check out all the small babies for the most part.
They're just like most orphanages. The older you get, apparently, the less likely you are to get picked. So yeah. All the would-be adoptee or adopters are looking at all the babies and the young kids, and then Earwig, who has terrible posture, is sitting down reading a book and is like, well, I don't know why we do this. We never get picked. She's talking to Custard, and they're just reading books.
Anyway, so then they go to the other room where they can just hang out with the other older kids, and they read books there. And then they get called by the caretaker to like line up because somebody wants to see them, all the older kids. She wants older kids because, well, she needs an extra pair of hands.
We find that out later, but the people trying to adopt are not the most savory of people, but they need somebody that's able to work.
Anyway, so it was the witch. The witch comes in late and has everyone lined up for her to choose, and then Erik makes an ugly. She makes an ugly face.
So to break this down, the kids are lined up for what is a nasty looking couple. This is verbatim what I wrote. It's a blue-haired brick house built woman with a pointy nose and a mole, and a tall, slender man with funky glasses, a purple suit, and he looks like my grandpa. The Mandrake looks like my grandpa. I couldn't stop thinking about that the entire movie. Spoiler warning, the guy looks like my grandpa. My grandpa's actually sick.
Oh, your grandpa from your dad.
My dad's.
Oh yeah,
dad's dad.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what?
Okay, forewarned. You guys don't know me, but my dad's dad is a he's taller than me and my father. Like he's like 6 something. He's like close to Mason's height. My best friend Mason, who's 6 something, 6'7" at this point. My grandfather's
at
like.
This point.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna grow anymore. If you're listening to this, hi Mason, love you. My grandpa's like a tall Mexican man who's very slender, and he's like has big ears and very big feet, and he looks like this character who we see who wears glasses. The whole time I'm like, that is my grandfather. Holy shit, this guy has the same posture. No, I mean he looks like him. I love my grandpa. Man, he's the best.
So yeah, she makes an ugly face in hope that she doesn't get picked, but
she crosses her eyes and makes a stink face like
but then the witch picks her. And she's like, no!
They pick Earwig as the tall dude leaves. Oh yeah, so they pick Earwig. They say she's perfect and she's in disbelief. Custard is upset because he's losing his best friend. Well, I'm in draw mode on my notes. And as the Mandrake literally says, his name is Mandrake. He says, she will do. They tell Earwig to get her stuff, but Earwig notices while they're looking at the kids that there's this
guy's getting taller and taller.
Yeah, the guy who his name is Mandrake gets taller. He has a weird aura, and as he picks Earwig, he goes to leave outside of the orphanage and he phases through the wall.
Yeah, nobody sees it for some reason.
Only Earwig can see it, and she's like, "What the hell is this right now?"
So yeah, she's like trying to throw a fit, like she doesn't want to go, and but then she's forced to go.
I also wrote down that as the tall dude leaves, he phases through the door like Vision from the MCU. If you guys watch WandaVision, you'll know exactly what I mean.
Okay, so
I wrote down that.
Do you have more?
I just wrote down that they're very mean and they make her carry her bag all the way to walk to the new house.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So then on their way to they walk home and they didn't even pay attention to her, and she almost got hit by a car.
Yeah, and then that's when Earwig is tripping out because I think it was a garbage truck. A garbage truck pulls up really fast. Earwig avoids it, but she thinks that the woman who subsequently her name is Bella Yaga and Mandrake are fine. They should have been hit by the car, but for some reason they're on the opposite side of the street fine. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a red flag for Earwig. She's like, okay, what the fuck?
I mean, everybody knows that she's not a
they're not normal people, clearly.
Yeah. So then so it's Bella Yaga and Mandrake. So then Bella Yaga is the witch, and she actually works for other people. Like she makes spell for them, pretty much.
A little bit of like trivia about this. So this movie has to do with witches and whatnot. And if you didn't know, Bella Yaga is derived from the name Baba Yaga, which is a witch in Russian culture. And Mandrake is actually a Mandrake is a mythical creature in in Greek mythology, I believe. And it's a half scorpion, half lion creature. Could be wrong, but it is a mythical creature, and I know I'm right about that.
Okay, so then.
Every time I say a fact or whatever, she's just like, "Man, can you just shut up and get to the next part?" This is why I married her, so she can just cut me down in every instance. All right.
I validated you.
You validated the hell out of me. They get to the new house and there's a weird magic afoot because right when she walks into the yard of this new home, the gate shuts behind her and locks magically.
Yeah.
And there's a weird gusty looking tornado things that she notices.
Yeah, small tornadoes.
But she's also looking for a way to escape, which is hilarious. Because right when she gets there, she's like, I can escape out through there.
Through the window, actually.
Through the window or over the
window.
bushes. Like, yeah.
So yeah, she gets into the house and she gets introduced. Like she sees her room. Like, oh, this is your room. And the witch just tosses her.
Bella Yaga is hella rude. Tosses her stuff and she's like, "You're gonna work for me. Here's where you sleep." Giving her shit the whole time. I'm like, you adopted her. Don't give her shit.
So Earwig is actually playing it all cool. Like she's like, yeah, I expected this type of thing. Like,
Yeah, because Bella Yaga's like, I'm a witch, and she's like, all right, I'm down.
So yeah, so she introduced her to the kitchen. No, she's like, let's set this straight. You work for me. You help me out.
Yep.
And then Earwig was like, and then you teach me magic, right? And then she kind of agreed, but did not really agree. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, so then she shows her the shop where she makes her things.
Her potions, spells, and whatnot, and that's when they also have an agreement. They have an agreement that Bella Yaga would teach Earwig magic in exchange for Earwig doing whatever Bella Yaga asks for. Like whatever tasks around the house.
Yeah, like pretty much doing
They even
everything.
shake on it, and that's kind of important later on.
And then so she gets introduced to the room, and the room is disgusting.
Yeah, the workshop is just. I wrote down that it's nasty as fuck. Like right when you
There's
walk
a mud
in,
everywhere.
it's like goop everywhere. Everything's unorganized.
The
There's,
floor has
there's
goop
shit
on it,
everywhere.
too.
Yeah, it's nasty. It's
really
nasty.
Yeah. So then
Bella Yaga also says the only rule for the house is you never disturb the mandrake. Don't disturb the mandrake. He's a grumpy ass guy.
yeah. So the mandrake. Okay, so I thought at this point the mandrake prepared the dinner. He prepared the station pie for dinner. But then he wasn't.
Yeah.
Bella Yaga said, "What did the demon prepare today for dinner?"
Yeah, so there's a lot of like little hidden context that you don't get right away. Like, I didn't get it at first, but even when they're in the shop, Bella Yaga has Earwig do some work at first, and she even puts Thomas. We're introduced to Thomas the cat, and Bella Yaga puts Thomas the cat to work, and I'm like, why are you putting this cat to work? I didn't get it at first.
Yeah.
You find out more about that later on. It turns out that Bella Yaga sells spells to help others cheat in order to win at things like races and competitions. Her spells are more advantageous, like they help you get farther in life, which is kind of messed up. But yeah, then you get to dinner time.
Yeah, I skipped all that.
Yeah, it turns out Thomas is eating a fish and everyone is eating station pie. But yeah, like you said, Bella Yaga is like, oh, what did the demons prepare for us today? We both thought that the mandrake was like a hell of a cook and he was just chefing all these things up. But you don't see the mandrake and what he does because she says that he's not to be disturbed. So
Yeah.
when you get there, this dinner's all prepared. Everything looks nice.
He always has his like huge book or like newspaper.
He's always
or
reading.
something.
Yeah, he's always reading. That also is important later on. But
She sneaks into that. Oh, yeah. So after dinner, she sneaks into the library and the book starts falling on her. That's what I have on my notes.
This is really fast note. This is also kind of important also later. Bella Yaga kind of disses the dinner. She's like, oh, station pie, why do we have to eat this? And then the mandrake, every time he gets upset, he like literally you see his forehead boiling. His eyes like behind the glasses, like they start sparking like crazy.
Yeah.
It looks like they're starting to light on fire. So I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like, literally wrote down that, like, the mandrake is getting upset and his eyes look crazy, man.
Yeah,
But
the
yeah.
newspaper starts burning.
Yeah, he's literally burning holes in the newspaper. But yeah, so cut to Earwig after a shower.
Yeah, that's when she was sneaking into the library and the little demons or the bats were like pushing the books onto her head.
We finally get a view of the demons firsthand, although she cannot see them at first because Earwig sneaks around the house. She finds that old library, and then she goes to read some of the books, and
She makes fun of it.
she makes fun of the literature, and then the demons decide to throw books on her head, and literally try to cause an avalanche of books at her, so she decides to run away.
Then she finds like doors that disappears around the house.
Yeah, Bella Yaga's room disappears after she goes into it. The doorway disappears. Sneaky bitch.
So then she starts to like go around the house finding other doors. Do you
Yep.
have more notes before that?
No. I literally have the same thing that she finds a stinky ass room that she has to like put a scarf around her neck to go in the room.
But it leads her into the garage where she finds the car.
From the beginning.
The car that chased her
the-
mom.
What we're assuming is her mom. We are assuming only. We don't have the facts, but you don't come here for the facts. You come here for the breakdown. Okay.
So the red-haired witch lady.
That was chased by this yellow car. The yellow car, turns out it belongs to Bella Yaga and the Mandrake.
Yeah, so then inside the car, she finds a radio and an earwig book. Sorry, guys.
No, it's an earwig record,
that's
a
right.
box of cassettes, and a radio, a boombox pretty much.
So I wrote it's probably her mom's.
And she jacks it, of course. She takes it to her room and is like, nah, fuck that. No one's gonna suspect that I took this into my room at all. She exits only to find out the windows are sealed and the door to the outside is gone. So it turns out every time you enter this house, unless you have the ability to cast a certain spell, you are not allowed to leave the house. So in her room, she cannot open the window. The door to the outside is gone.
Yeah. So then, but then she realized that she has her own room and her own bathroom, like nobody else uses it.
Mm-hmm.
So then she starts hanging her best friend's picture and the lady from the place,
The caretaker.
the caretaker's picture on the bathroom.
She decorates the bathroom to her liking.
Pretty much.
And then Earwig just has to do a lot of chores apparently. Like, for her being there, she has to literally anything that is needed to cast a spell, she has to do for Bella Yaga. Bella Yaga expresses that she's gonna have to cook for them.
Yeah.
She's gonna have to do,
Dishes,
dishes, laundry, everything.
Everything. So then, this is when I realized that it's the demons who cook.
Yeah. That's when you finally see that the Mandrake reveals that he has demons that are butlers pretty much, and they do whatever he wants. They can summon things, because the Mandrake demands that they make him fish and chips for everybody for lunch from a certain place. It has to be from a certain restaurant. They do a little spinny tornado thing. Next thing you know, bam, they make a mean fish and chips out of nowhere.
Yep.
By the way, I'm hungry. I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of hungry right now. Damn.
Yeah. So Earwig and do you have another note from this?
No, I have it. I know where
Sorry.
you're going because it goes to the room, right?
So this is when I realized that Earwig and Bella Yaga used to be in a band together. That's my next note is.
Yeah, because it cuts to Earwig being in the room with Thomas, and she decides to play the cassette from the boombox that she took from the car, and then the cassette is literally labeled Earwig. The music starts playing, and it cuts to a little clip of the band before. It turns out that the witch from the beginning and Bella Yaga used to be in a band together, and Thomas starts freaking out from the music, but that's when we get that little hint that there's more to this witch's dynamic than we thought.
Thomas started talking.
Yeah.
And
Turns out Thomas can speak. The fucking cat can talk. He's quiet the whole movie, and then just decides, hey, guess what? I'm gonna speak now.
Because you're gonna die.
God damn it.
So Thomas started talking when Erica was drawing the Mandrake. So she was, the Mandrake was showing into the wall. Like the walls has like two big red eyes. I don't know what it is.
So basically, like, Mandrake resides in his own area of the house. He's subsequently chilling on the opposite side of where Earwig's room is, and as she starts playing the cassette, like these two little red portals appear. It's basically like the Mandrake is like peering into her room.
Yeah.
To spy on her essentially. The music definitely triggers something in him, so he's he's kind of like getting kind of upset about it.
Yeah.
I believe that's why also Thomas was freaking out, like, stop playing the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Like, he started talking because he's like, you're gonna die. Stop this right now. Anyway, so then, yeah. Because she was drawing him too. Like, she was drawing, like, how he looks like.
Yeah, she was
horn.
like... So, to pass the time, Earwig draws, and she was drawing, like, the mandrake, like, kind of with horns or whatever, and I guess he was kind of getting upset by this.
Yeah, so then, yeah. But then that stopped.
So that's when Earwig and Thomas are having a conversation, and that's when Thomas is kind of gives her the idea that, like, hey, if you don't like what's going on, why don't you work on something that can prevent them from getting to you? And then that's when they come up with a plan to sneak into the spell workshop and look for a protection spell.
Yeah, it's pretty much protecting them from their spell,
because,
the witch's spell.
Yeah, because Bella Yaga, the entire movie up until now, is whenever she threatens Earwig, she says, hey, don't make me get the worms at you. And apparently there's a spell for worms that attack you in some way that we don't know what the outcome of it is, because she constantly threatens her with it, and later on we find out that she does summon it against Earwig, but it doesn't work, and you'll see why.
Anyway, so then they did they work like throughout the night to make
all night
to make the spell that works against their spell.
Yeah, it's
protection.
They find the protection spell, and then they work all night literally to make this work.
Alright, so the next morning she woke her up because she taught her how to make a different breakfast the day before, but the next morning she wakes her up that she wants her to make a different one, right?
Yeah, because what happens is, like, all night they work on this spell, and it does seem to work, but, like, Thomas is very unsure of it because you have to say magic words for these spells to work, and he's like, yeah, I don't know if the words I got are right, but I know 6 of them, so we're gonna say them over and over. They do it. They work the spell, and they don't know if it works, but apparently spells work like sunscreen. You have to put it all over your body. You need high SPFs.
This type of spell.
Yeah, you have to rub it all over your body. They lather it in. Apparently, it smells really good. Apparently,
like
by the way, in this
lavender?
movie, yeah, spells
Roses.
smell like perfume. Because the first spell that Bella Yaga does, which is a hex, smells like, she says, Earwig says it smells like lavenders.
Yeah.
This next one, she says it smells like
roses
and stuff, and they put it on, and they want to see if it works.
Yeah. So then she finally goes to sleep, and then the next day, Bella Yaga wakes her up, like pounding on her door, like, wake up, the magic wants a breakfast.
And Earwig wakes up with, like, bags under her eyes. It's like, it's funny because the CGI, they just put, like, dark spots underneath her eyes.
Dark circle.
But yeah, she's hella tired and upset.
So yeah, so then she was like, the magic wants some fried bread.
Oh my god. So we also were trying to figure out what fried bread is, because we are Americans, and I guess they do it differently over there. Apparently fried bread is literally just that. You fry bread. I thought it was French toast.
It is French toast.
But the way they were explaining is like, hey, you just fry the bread. I'm like, wait, didn't you mean that's toast?
No. So.
But yeah, I guess it is French toast. But the way she said it was hilarious. Like, you gotta fry the bread. I'm like, bitch,
no,
get a toaster.
She literally didn't want to teach her. She just wanted to get her in trouble with the mandrake. So she said the mandrake wants fried bread now. And then the mandrake is waiting in the kitchen while she does it, and then she literally fried the bread because she doesn't know how. And then the mandrake got pissed when it was served to him, like, what is this? And she said, you wanted fried bread.
Earwig basically fucks up the breakfast on purpose to try to, like,
get on his
to kind of like she's basically poking at Bella Yaga and is like, hey, I want to see if this spell works. Cast some magic against me so I can know if this spell works, because if this spell works, Bella Yaga cannot fuck with Earwig. Like, if the protection spell works, whatever magic Bella Yaga throws at her, she cannot be affected by. So the whole morning to afternoon, Earwig is literally trying to poke at her.
Pretty much.
So she fucks up the breakfast, and then they cut to
No, but then after the magic was trying to get the demon to actually get him French toast from the restaurant because
Yeah.
that is the fried bread that he wanted.
By the way, if there was some ability to have like demon creatures that can get whatever you want at any moment, I swear to God, I would spend a whole tax return on them. Because if you think about it, we would never have to do like I would never have to cook. I could come home from work at any time, not have to worry about dinner, and I could always
Why
have
are you saying this? Dude, I cook too.
No, I'm not saying that you don't cook, but I'm just saying, imagine it. We don't have to do anything.
Why do you have to say I?
Because it'd be awesome. I would have
Go back to the
I would
stuff.
have less things to worry about. It would be so awesome. I want French toast.
I am the one who always cooks
I
like
want-
the past 2 weeks.
I want French toast. So yeah, Earwig fights back. Oh, I thought this is a really random moment. So if you guys don't know, Japanese movies, and like, they have boundaries that American movies sometimes don't have. So when Earwig and Bella Yaga get into the spell workstation again, throughout the movie, every morning or every afternoon, Earwig was always working with Bella Yaga in the spell station. But this particular morning, because she has a protection spell on, Earwig pokes at Bella Yaga like crazy, says all this nasty stuff to her, and instead she thinks that Bella Yaga is going to threaten her with the worm spell, but instead her eyes get all lopsided as she gets upset when Earwig talks crap to her, and Bella Yaga just smacks her upside the head. I thought that was like, whoa, this is a kid's movie. Like, you can't just be smacking little girls upside the head. It was really random, very, not needed, and I thought that was like really harsh. I was like, wow, they should not have this in a kids movie. But yeah, so Bella Yaga just smacks her upside the head, and Earwig just is like, all right, well, I'm gonna do whatever you say then for the rest of the day. So then Earwig is treated to her favorite shepherd's pie.
Yeah, this time I was like, the magic might be trying to get to her good side, which I was right. So then he made his demon do the shepherd's pie, and she
It's
was like,
literally
what?
from her orphanage too, which is really cool.
So she's like, wait, what? This is my favorite, and he's like, that's my favorite too, or something.
Yeah, because
So
like,
then I'm like,
yeah,
wow.
the Mandrake is slowly lowering his guard because, it's like hinted at lightly, but when the morning when Earwig messes up the breakfast, Bella Yaga wants to yell at Earwig and say it's all her fault, but then
He was like, you didn't teach her.
yeah, she's like, literally, I'm a child, like, I mean, I don't know how to, and then the Mandrake sides with her. He's like, she is a child, why didn't you teach her? And then that's when you start to see a little bit of a change in the Mandrake. He's like, because he's supposed to be this very feared, like, creepy individual that's like very upset all the time and angry, but he ends up siding with Earwig, and then later on literally makes her favorite, or gets her favorite lunch from the actual orphanage she's from, which I thought was a really cool moment. It's like, okay, he's lowering his guard and he's starting to have some personality, which I liked.
So then this time, Erica is trying to give the witch extra sets of hands.
Yeah, because like Earwig has been sneaking a voodoo doll pretty much of Bella Yaga, and to do so, she needed some of Bella Yaga's hair.
Yeah.
And it turns out she looked everywhere for Bella Yaga's hair. Everywhere. And the only where she could find some was in Bella Yaga's hat.
Yeah, she wears this like very fancy hat that she always wears when she goes out. So yeah, there was one piece of hair in there.
Yep. So as she's making the voodoo doll, the Mandrake actually appears in the workroom when it's just Earwig, and he looks mad at her because you think that the Mandrake sees her making the voodoo doll, but instead he actually brings her cupcakes and some tea, which is okay, the Mandrake's changing.
So actually, before that, that's when the witch left. She left to go meet with her customer or whatever, and that's when she started doing the witchcraft, doing the voodoo dolls type of thing. And then I actually saw the demon bringing the cupcakes from outside to inside. And then that's when he handed it to her himself, like, here for you. And then I'm like, yeah, I was right. He's trying to get into her good side.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's actually a really good moment because it's like, okay, well, there's actually some levity in this movie.
Like, she was really scared, and he was just like, here. And then she tried to have a conversation with him.
But then he leaves. But
yeah, he did say some things like, I write, and
that's when it turns out, like, because Earwig was poking around the house, she discovers, like, oh, okay, you're a writer. She asks him about it, and he's like, yeah, I write. And she's like, oh, can I read some of it? And he's like, yes, but he leaves before he shows her anything. And then it cuts to later on in the night, because Earwig remembers that the Mandrake's room is right across from her, so she uses a screwdriver and pokes a hole through the wall to see into his...
Actually, she poked into the wall to, like, trying to get hair, a piece of hair the night before.
Because her theory is that because she doesn't know where...
I have a sty.
I have a sty? Oh my god, I'm dying. So her theory is that she doesn't know where Bella Yaga's room is because it disappears whenever she enters it. So she pokes a hole into the wall, hoping that maybe she could figure out where Bella Yaga's room is. And it turns out that, hey, she poked a hole into the Mandrake's room.
This is kind of important too later on. She used the hole for something else. Anyway, so then she finds out that the Mandrake is an artist. He was playing a piano.
No, so I wrote down that Earwig uses a screwdriver to poke a hole through the wall to see the Mandrake's room, and he's slaying on an organ. He got riffs. He's like slaying on this organ, like treating it like it's his bitch. He's like going ham on this organ. She's like, oh wow, he's playing music. Yeah.
Anyway, so then her spell worked because she gave the witch some extra hands, but it was like in a very
because like
weird place.
So once Earwig uses the hairs on the voodoo doll as she basically pisses off Bella Yaga when they're in the room. Oh wait, she actually says that she has to use a bathroom break while they're creating spells.
Yeah. Puts
the hairs on the voodoo doll, and then because she put a bunch of clay hands all over the voodoo doll, Bella Yaga subsequently grows a bunch of hands out of her body, and Earwig's laughing at her, says, haha, you said you wanted extra hands around the house, guess what, you got extra hands, haha.
And she gets really pissed off this time.
Yeah, so as Earwig runs back to her room, Bella Yaga breaks the spell, and that's when she summons the worms. She's really pissed off and summons worms from the ceiling in Earwig's room. But it turns out the protect spell worked, and the worms don't do anything to Earwig. So
the worms just
sit there. They're purple and blue worms, and she's like, oh, what am I gonna do with these worms? She's gonna figure out that
that it didn't work.
That it didn't work. So she decides to put the worms through the hole that she created with the screwdriver.
Through the Mandrake's room.
So the Mandrake is pissed, by the way. He goes...
She said there was like a lot of worms, but then at the end of the worm, he was infuriated.
He's like, Mandrake goes off. He's like super pissed. It turns out the worms go... She thought that the worms would go to Bella Yaga's room, but they go to wherever the most magic is present, which was the Mandrake's room. So he's pissed. He thinks Bella Yaga did this to him.
Yeah.
And he shows his true form, which is basically almost a full Mandrake, but it shows his human head still. Yeah. So he comes through
to the wall.
The wall basically melts like lava. His demon army comes out, and he's like, he thinks that Bella Yaga did it.
And then Bella Yaga was like, it's not me.
And he goes to beat that ass, pretty much. He goes to beat that ass.
Bella Yaga was like, it's not me, it's her. And then
yeah.
And then Erica was just like, what? I didn't do anything. She's trying to give me the worms.
Yeah, Earwig offers her to the Mandrake, and Earwig flees through the portal to the Mandrake's room, actually.
Yes.
Turns out the Mandrake was an organ player in the band named Earwig, which is how Earwig got her name. Then the Mandrake sides with Earwig and tells Earwig everything. After Earwig apologizes, says that, hey, she summoned them on me. I didn't know that they would go to your room.
But yeah, no, she found out that, you know, the Mandrake was actually part of the band.
Yeah, that's when he tells her everything about the band, yeah.
Yeah, so, all three of them are part of the band, and that's when, after the conversation, what was I gonna say? That's when he revealed that the witch, which is the red hair, which is, I think,
you
is
get a flashback.
Erica's mom.
You get a flashback of their previous life before. Turns out they were all in a band named Earwig. The Mandrake was the organ player. The lead singer was a redheaded witch from the beginning, and Bella Yaga was the drummer. Mm-hmm. She's actually a really good drummer. That's when, during this flashback, you see that the lead singer, the redheaded witch, during a flashback of them driving in the car, she's sitting outside of the yellow car or standing up through the sun roof of the car. Bella Yaga's driving, and she had a thing for the Mandrake. She goes to give Mandrake a smooch, but it turns out, like, they don't say it coincidentally, but Bella Yaga turns the wheel, like, haha, I can't keep the wheel straight, don't kiss. There's a jealousy thing going on between the two witches.
So this got me thinking, like, so the Mandrake could be her dad?
No, I hope the Mandrake wasn't laying no pipe. Please, no Mandrake, don't do that to that innocent woman.
Because of that moment, really. So that's what I thought, like, maybe. Could be.
Yeah, so, like, it cuts to a later scene of the Mandrake and Bella Yaga as the redheaded witch is leaving. So apparently there's a coven of witches. This is important. There's a coven of witches in which there has to be 13 witches. If one witch leaves, one has to take its place.
Mm-hmm. But she just left them.
So the redheaded witch decides that she's gonna leave the band.
The band.
Yeah, she says that, like, she's leaving, whatever. Bella Yaga slaps the redheaded witch, and she's basically is like, I'm done with it. It's very important because if the redheaded witch is leaving, subsequently, who's gonna take her place? Earwig. Is the redheaded witch Earwig's mom? Maybe, maybe not. But that's basically how they split and how the band was broken up.
So then, yeah, Earwig was like talking to Mandrake, like, I'm not gonna leave you, like, I'm gonna help you out, and yeah, they just had a heart to heart.
Yep, Earwig tries to find out more information on the band, but Mandrake kicks her out as she pleads to go to school so she can see Custard.
Yeah,
Mandrake says he will consider
tomorrow, right?
Yep. Like, Mandrake is like, he says that the lead singer was a talented singer, and that
he said that I wrote the Mandrake still cherishes music and the band, and he also told Erica that the witch will never give her worm again, but she can never do what she did ever again either.
Yep, because Earwig tries to find out more info on the band, and they have a cool moment where Mandrake is like, I accept you, like, he kind of lets down his guard, and Earwig is like, she pleads to have a normal life, basically. She's like, I will be here, I will be with you guys, but can I go to school? I miss Custard, my best friend. And,
like, she said that school starts tomorrow, so she's supposed to go to school.
Yeah, she's supposed to go to school.
So then, fast forward 6 months later, so she's pretty much just, like, narrating.
Yeah, it cuts to 6 months later. Earwig embraces Bella Yaga and says, thank you for everything, and Bella Yaga just act all like, oh, I still want you to do chores, but it's cool.
So then, the Mandrake now calls her Dearwig.
They rename Earwig Dearwig, which is kind of cute.
And then, they do everything she wants, and they're like a normal family. Like, the demons actually serves her breakfast in bed every morning.
Mm-hmm.
They give her whatever she wants. Oh yeah, this is this special demon that that had the shell on his head still.
There was during the Mandrake being pissed off, all the demons appear, and you get to see one special demon that's kind of dumb, and he has an eggshell on his head that subsequently becomes Earwig's best demon friend, and she summons him every morning, and the Mandrake is called by his demons like, oh, your nastiness and your evilness, but this demon tells Earwig, or Dearwig now, he says, oh, yes, your highness and your beautifulness. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Oh my god.
So yeah, so she gets whatever she wants. They go on family trips. They go outside and hang out and stuff.
And when Earwig and Mandrake see each other after this, time skip, Earwig compliments the Mandrake on his writing, and normally when he's upset, you see his forehead bubbling and his eyes spark, but this time his forehead is bubbling, but it's like rainbow colored. He's like all flustered. He's like, oh, thank you. He doesn't know what to do.
Wait,
I'm like,
did
oh, that's
he
funny.
serve her the breakfast after, or what was he doing in her room that time?
He was waking her up and he was wishing her a good morning and kind of thing, and like, what do you need for the day? And that's when she complimented him on his writing, and he's like, yeah, thanks.
And he leaves.
Yep.
And then
So they're close, everybody's friendly with each other. They go on family trips, they drive the car again. Bella Yaga's driving. Bella Yaga's finally smiling for once, which is crazy. So they go about normal holiday stuff. They decorate their house with little ornament demons. And do you have any notes to close this out? Because if not, I do.
No, all I have is Custard finally visits.
Yes.
And Earwig comes to visit. Earwig, I don't know why I put Earwig, but
No,
Earwig comes to visit as well.
So they host a Christmas party at the end of the movie, alright? It's the ending scenes. They're hosting a Christmas party. Bella Yaga's down for it. Mandrake is down for it. Custard wanted to visit this whole time, but he's too much of a puss to visit because he's scared of the Mandrake. But who can blame him? The Mandrake's kind of scary. And Custard finally decides to show up to this Christmas party, but as he shows up to this Christmas party, Earwig opens the door to greet him, and he is accompanied by
the redhead.
The redheaded witch from the beginning, and the ending of the movie is there.
No, she says, "Hi, Earwig,"
and that's the ending.
So yeah, that's her mom.
So like most Studio Ghibli movies, they always have a message and they always have an abrupt ending. Ponyo ends with Ponyo kissing Sasuke, and that's the ending. Kiki's Delivery Service ends with Kiki catching the boy, and that's it. Totoro ends with the mom being okay, waking up, and that's kind of the ending. This is no different. Earwig and the Witch's ending is the redheaded witch showing up. It's implied that she adopted Custard, and that they're trying to... Yeah, that's how he's able to go free, basically. Because there's school going on, but they're having a Christmas party. She didn't just show up like next to him. Custard would have been like, "Who the fuck are you?" You know what I mean?
No, because he was like walking outside the gate for the longest time, and she drove by and got there after he was already there.
But
she drove and got there. They didn't get there together.
But she put her hand on him.
Yeah, like to make him comfortable to go in there together.
But if it was like, okay, so a lot of this movies, that's what we were talking about earlier. So a lot of it is kind of like open-ended questions, because you got to think about it. If he was a random kid and a random lady just goes, "Hey, I'm gonna introduce myself," I would be like, "All right, who the fuck are you?" But no, right? Like, think about it. Like, if you were a little kid and some lady goes and introduces herself, I would have been like, who are you? Stranger danger. But it's like you gotta fill in the blanks kind of thing. So that's why I kind of like I have problems with this movie, because some of the other Ghibli movies, it's like you can fill in the blanks yourself and you can make a good conclusion yourself. This one is kind of like, all right, questions. Is this redheaded witch Ponyo's mom? Is she just a part of the
Ponyo's
coven?
Mom.
Excuse me, Earwig's
drunk,
mom. I am not drunk. I need to be drunk, though, to figure out the conclusions to this movie. So is the redheaded witch Earwig's mom? Is she a part of the coven? Did she adopt Custard? You know, what is the ending? I didn't enjoy this ending as much as the other Studio Ghibli movie endings because it's just so open-ended. I kind of wish they had like some kind of... I wish you at least got to see them interact with each other and maybe make up the band members. You know, Mandrake, Bella Yaga, and the Red-Headed Witch. That would have been cool.
I mean, she said that she would be back when she catch all 12 witches or
When
whatever.
she
So then,
outruns the other 12 witches.
so I think she did that.
That's another thing. It's like, are the other witches after her? Are they upset with her? Yeah, so I kind of didn't enjoy the ending as much as the other movies. It is what it is, and it's enjoyable. Another thing is the CGI in this movie. There's a certain magic with Ghibli movies when they're drawn that I like, and this kind of was like, okay, it is what it is.
It's kind of cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's enjoyable, but it doesn't have as much of the same magic. But I do like the attempt. A lot of the art style was still similar, so overall, I did enjoy it. Could have enjoyed it more, but it is what it is. So out of 10, what would you give this?
I don't know. What do you get? What would you?
As much as okay, so with me, because of like all the other movies I've seen, you know, Miyazaki has come up with like classics before, you know, like literally I think Spirited Away won an Oscar. Like his movies have such a high standard for me that this just didn't have as much of the magic as I wanted. It had the colorful characters, the kind of simplistic but complex background. It had the music score, but just the ending was too open-ended, and it just for most of the movie it didn't feel like it had a direction. It was just kind of like, hey, there's this setting and this is what's happening, what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 6.5.
Oh my gosh.
I hate to say it, like it's a 6.5 to 7 for me, but just as far as the other movies, like you can't come out with, like, if you think about it, Ponyo was so simple, but it had such magic to it. Like it was just because it was so simple, it had such charm. Like just like the ramen scene where like Ponyo first eats ramen with ham, like, and she's just like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever because she's just lived under sea as a fish creature. Like that shit was just like has so much more magic, and this is like like I said, the art style is cool, the music's cool, but maybe if it was drawn and the ending was a little bit more concise, I would give it a higher ranking. But yeah, I'd say 6.5 to 7.
Okay, so from a non
Ghibli stan,
non anime watcher,
fangirl,
I would give it an 8 actually.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it, and I could predict a few things, so
it's
kind of cool.
I think for other people, like if you like kids might like it, but like for somebody that's not too into Studio Ghibli movies, I can see you like liking the cutesiness and then the music part of it. And
I didn't really care for the music. Actually, it was not really my thing. It's more about the relationship that she had with the Mandrake that actually
because like
cool
that is one of the highlights of the movie, is because like it's like the movies where like the main, like there's like that hard edge angry person in the movie, and then they come around to liking the lovable character.
And plus, like,
the
I
dynamics.
like how like she didn't care how the witch was acting, or I mean, she didn't really. She didn't love it, but she didn't really care how the witch treated her.
She had a goal
like,
in
she's
mind.
like, whatever, like, okay.
Yeah.
But like as soon as she realized that this witch is not gonna give her what she wants, then she started doing repelling the magic itself, and I think it's pretty cool. I mean, like, she's pretty clever, little girl. How old is she, anyways? 10, 9.
She's around there, like 7.
She's 12.
Something like that.
But yeah, I think it was pretty cool to me. I mean, it's not 10, but it's like 8.
Yeah, I'm just basing it off of what I've saw before. Like, just, I mean, I hold Ponyo, Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, even Porco Rosso at such a high level. Like, Porco Rosso? Oh, we gotta watch Porco Rosso.
Oh,
That's on the list. Porco Rosso's
It's not a new
badass.
release, though.
We're gonna do classics. But I hold them to such a high regard that this is like, it's good for what it is, but like you can't. It's like, I don't have too much disagreements with it except for like the ending, but you can't ask me to judge a bunch of 10s, then you give me something that's kind of mid tier and expect it to have a high rating. You know, like I feel like those.
You give it what it is, baby. It's okay.
All right, I'm justifying for myself because I feel bad.
Anyways, that's pretty much for today, you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget, if you would like to participate in next week's
discussion episode
and movie of choice, if you would like to actually suggest some movie of choice, you can actually join us on live on every Sunday at 9 p.m. 9 p.m.
8 or 9 p.m. Depends what we feel like. Okay, it depends on our kids. Okay.
9 p.m. Hawaii time on
twitch.tv/nocturnal_copy and fish. Help us get to our goal. Help us boost this channel. Once you do, we will eventually create our own Twitch for this. Follow, like, subscribe, comment on all of our platforms. They will be listed in the Spotify or iTunes description. We're working on the iTunes this week. We'll have that to you soon. We're also available on Anchor, Pocket Podcasts, Google Podcasts, every platform you can think of. We're coming to you. We do this for fun. We do this for the love, and we do this because we also like movies and like spending time watching these movies, except for when we're angry.
So we need to be productive while we watch the movies so that David doesn't fall asleep.
Hey man, I work my ass off, okay? But we love you guys. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're so happy to do a bonus episode for you guys. Please share with all your friends and family if you like what we do. We're only going to get better, by the way. Eventually, we're going to upgrade our equipment, upgrade our setup.
Alrighty,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you. We appreciate it so
much. Bye.